Kobe.
How would you feel if your favorite person in the whole world mispronounced your name? Colby Covington must want to bury his head in the sand right now if he's heard Donald Trump referring to him as Kobe, as in Kobe, instead of Colby. But to be fair, there's a very subtle difference between Kobe and Colby, so that can be ignored. But what about Trump admitting that he loves Covington's arch rival, Jorge Masvidal? Now that surely hurts.
Jorge Masvidal is you know why I love him? I love people that like me. He likes me. He's a guy from Cuba who got left alone in life at like 9 years old. And Jorge's a great guy, and he was campaigning for me. You know, he was a big fan of mine politically. And I'll tell you, it had a difference. I did phenomenally well in Miami and in all of Florida with the Hispanic population. And I credit a lot of that to Jorge. So we love Jorge.
To make matters worse, Trump loves Masvidal while he only likes Colby Covington.
They had a fight with Kobe, who I really like too. You know, Kobe, those two don't like each other.
That's a rough one for you.
But Kobe is a MAGA guy. He walks into the ring sometimes wearing a Make America Great Again.
Yep.
And he's got a great fight coming up.
When asked who he'd support in a potential rematch between the two arch rivals, Trump refused to pick sides. He said that he appreciates both MMA stars for supporting him.
I don't love it. I hate to give that kind of an answer.
Sure.
Like, you know, I don't like to do that. But I've had a couple where, because I know so many of the fighters, I've held a lot of fights for my own reasons. I mean, it brings people, it brings success, it brings money. It brings a lot of good things, and it's an interesting business.
Is it time for Covington to flip the switch on Trump and join hands with the Democrats? Anyways, who do you guys think is the greatest champion in UFC history? Well, before we find out Sean O'Malley's pick, please subscribe to Takedown MMA and turn on your notifications. Throughout its 3 decades-long history, the UFC has seen tons of great champions from past and present, including Georges St-Pierre, Anderson Silva, and Jon Jones. But Sean O'Malley thinks Israel Adesanya is the best champion the UFC has ever seen.
Izzy has been the best champ UFC's ever seen. The amount of times he has fought consistently as a champion in the UFC is legendary.
Do you think...
That's certainly a hot take, which drew reactions from other members of O'Malley's podcast, including his coach Tim Welch, who mentioned Anderson Silva. O'Malley responded by saying that Adesanya has fought better competition, so he's naturally better than the Spider. But then he admitted that he hasn't seen many of Silva's fights.
Anderson was like the scariest.
Dude, I remember when he Muay Thai clinched Rich Franklin and just... Oh,
but how
my God.
good were the guys he was fighting? Was he not just on another level?
True.
I mean, dude,
I guess that's not his fault.
Dude,
No, it's not. But look at this win streak. This win streak starts. Okay, he got in the UFC. Chris Lieben, Rich Franklin, Travis Lutter, Nate Marquardt, Rich Franklin, and these are all KOs. Dan Henderson, James Irvin, Patrick Cote, Talis Latis, Forrest Griffin, Damian Maia, Chael Sonnen, Vitor Belfort, Yushin Okami, Chael Sonnen, Stephen Bonner. He was cruising through them, bro.
Yeah, I see. It's different when you watch it. I just never watched any of those, really.
What does boxing hottie Ebony Bridges think of Francis Ngannou? Francis Ngannou may be a star in mixed martial arts, but he still needs to impress people in the world of boxing to gain recognition. For example, IBF female bantamweight champion Ebony Bridges, who happens to be great friends with Conor McGregor and has met British stars like Malley McCann, doesn't even know who Ngannou is. During a question and answer session on Instagram, this is what Bridges had to say when she was asked about Ngannou. Quote, "To be honest, I've never heard of the guy, never seen him, so I don't know." The blonde bomber was then asked about an OnlyFans collaboration with Paige Van Zandt, and this is what she had to say. Quote, "We were actually talking about a collaboration. We were trying to organize it, but she got really busy, and I moved. So many things. Hopefully we can get back on track because I would love to collab with Paige Van Zandt. That would be sexy." Ebony Bridges is not alone. Many others in the boxing world either don't know who Francis Ngannou is or don't want to give him the credit he deserves. Will that change when the Predator faces Tyson Fury in October? We'll have to wait and see. Meatball Molly McCann can't catch a break. She recently fought at UFC London, where she suffered a submission loss at the hands of Julia Stoliarenko, a few months after getting submitted by Erin Blanchfield. The flyweight is now moving down to strawweight in the hope of bouncing back into the win column, but the weight isn't the problem. The problem is McCann's grappling ability, which isn't up to the mark, according to Daniel Cormier.
I don't know what the change does. I love Malley, and that's why it makes for these conversations to be hard. But until she fixes her submission defense, I don't think it matters what weight class she's in, because there are great grapplers at 115 pounds. So I think that Molly McCann's issue is going to be the skill set more than the weight class that she's fighting at. It's not necessarily her weight class.
Do you agree with Daniel Cormier? Ahead of Jake Paul's boxing match with Nate Diaz, Michael Bisping has dropped a major bombshell. He turned down the chance to beat the YouTube sensation up. Bisping was down to fighting Paul, but the money on offer was pretty low. So the Count asked Jake's team to come up with a better offer. And that was the last time he heard from them. Quote, "The sooner we shut up and stop talking about the little coward Jake Paul, the better it is. Jake Paul sent a contract to my management asking me to box him a while ago. I said, yeah, sure, if you up the offer a little bit. And then guess what? We never heard back from him because he's a little and he's picking off smaller guys and non-boxers. The one time he fought a boxer, Tommy Fury, he lost. Is he going after the rematch? No. He fights Nate Diaz, who's almost 40 and is not a boxer. He can box a little bit, but is a smaller guy that used to fight at 155 pounds. Now, with all due respect, Jake had been calling out Diaz for a long time, since Diaz is one of the most popular fighters in combat sports, and he'd definitely sell more tickets than Bisping. If you don't believe us, take a look at how one fan went absolutely berserk when she ran into the Stockton native.
Hey, Nate, say hi to her. Just say hi. Just go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh my God! I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I only got Yay! You have to.
Are you okay right now? I got you, girl. Chill the out. All right. It's amazing, man.
Why did Robbie Lawler retire from MMA despite feeling that he still has a lot more left in him? Lawler rode into the sunset after stopping Nico Price in only 38 seconds at UFC 290, capping off a legendary career in style. In a recent interview, Lawler revealed that he feels he still has more to offer, but maybe not as much as he used to offer in his heyday, which is why he doesn't want to continue fighting.
I mean, I definitely have more left in me. It's one of those things where it's like you figure it out. I just can't do as much as I used to is the thing. Like I can't train the way I want to train. Like when I'm like the guy who likes to do extra. And like now it's like, hey, just relax. You know how to fight. Let's just get you to the fight. So that's the hard part for me, because I'm like, I like to work. I like to work out. I like to lift. I like to do all these things. And I have this checklist, and that checklist is too much.
Would you like to see Robbie Lawler back in action? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. To stay up to date with the latest happenings in the world of mixed martial arts and boxing, please subscribe to Takedown MMA and turn on those notifications. Thank you for your continued love and support, and we'll see you in the next one.